Hi, I'm Jim Obermayer, your host for Sales Lead Management Radio, coming to you on behalf of the 8,000 worldwide members of the Sales Lead Management Association. SLMA Radio is a syndicated show, and our archives have 205-plus shows and 310 executive interviews. Our producer is Paul Roberts, and we are coming to you live from our studio in Costa Mesa, California. The SLMA is part of the SLMA Live Network. Paul and I are here today in sunny Southern California. We've got a very special program today entitled How to Stop Wasting Marketing Dollars on Non-Revenue Tactics. It's one of my favorite subjects, and I have found some new best friends to talk to us about this. Michelle Jacobs and Matt Hertig of Alight Analytics are going to discuss how can't even talk here this morning, Paul. How multi-channel marketing analytics can help companies be more efficient with every marketing dollar. Marketing management today has the pressure to spend money on things that work and leave the rest for their competitors. Michelle and Matt share how they use ChannelMax Big Data Warehouse to increase sales online and offline for their customers. Our program today is a little bit longer. It's about 40 minutes because this is a deep subject. A little bit about Michelle Jacobs. She's a co-founder and managing partner of Alight Analytics. Before Alight Analytics, Michelle directed web analytics, marketing, and advertising strategies for companies such as H&R Block, American Century Investments, Saatchi & Saatchi, and Toyota. And Matt, also a co-founder of Alight Analytics. Prior to joining the company, starting the company, Matt built an extensive background in CRM, database marketing, web strategy, and business intelligence by serving an executive leading with multi-million-dollar database marketing systems and multi-channel web strategies at companies such as AMC Theaters, American Century Investments, and Payless. Matt and Michelle, welcome, and tell us about your company. I've covered just about everything about you two, but tell us about the company.
Yeah, well, thanks a lot for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
But clearly, I think we need longer bios based on that introduction. But no, we really appreciate the opportunity to come and talk about Alight and really what our approach is to solving this challenge that marketers face. Quick history from Alight's perspective: Michelle and I actually started the company as web analytics consultants. We're corporate refugees, so to speak, and we really started the company with helping people get tools configured like Google Analytics in the right way to help them understand truly what was happening on their websites. And that was very fundamental. It's still very foundational to everything that we do here at Alight today. The reality of it is, though, that marketers need to understand everything. They need to understand where they're spending their money, what effect it has on market, whether they're a B2B company, that marketing's job is to help drive sales and lead gen, or a B2C company where they're actually trying to drive revenue through the store, either online or in a brick and mortar. So we've evolved very rapidly, and today we have a big data warehouse, a big data solution that we call ChannelMix that we've built over the years to solve the data problem, which really helps us deliver the services that we offer, which is a full-service marketing analytics from tracking to measuring to creating, targeting, and predicting modeling solutions. So we call ourselves a full-service analytics company. We focus on the marketing space and really help marketers across all verticals, all industries, monetize what marketing's doing for their company.
So let's say that I've got, Salesforce.com. It seems like about 80% of companies have them at one time or another anyway. Let's say I've got Salesforce.com. I've got a marketing automation system. Let's say it's Marketo, Salesforce.com CRM, marketing automation. I've got a great nurturing system. I can pull reports off the CRM system, off the marketing automation system. I can start getting reports that tell us what's turning into a sale. What does your analytics system do that I can't currently do with CRM and marketing automation?
Great question. It actually does exactly what you're not describing, which is pulling all of that data together into one cohesive report and view. So the real beauty of a solution like ChannelMix, especially from a marketer standpoint, is being able to take all of the multitude of marketing channels that we're investing in today, whether that's paid search, whether that's email through a system like Marketo, banner ads, TV, radio, print, every tactic that we add into our marketing portfolio always ends up in another report, just as you described. And so as a CMO, you end up with 50 reports on your table, and you have no idea how these channels are working together. You just end up with a lot of reporting. So Channel Mix brings that all together into one cohesive data warehouse and allows you to see how not only the marketing tactics are working individually, but more importantly, how they're working together to drive leads and to drive revenue. Explain what you mean by working together.
Yeah, so great question. So we know that today, particularly when you use terms like multi-channel attribution, for example, we describe it as customers go on a journey, and we describe it in a process that we go through in the multitude of industry conferences that we attend and speak at. But as customers, we all go through this decision process of being exposed to a brand through things like TV, radio, or print, as Michelle was describing. It could be email, it could be search. But those are all things that create awareness about who your company is and really entice me into engaging with your brand. Then I go through this decision process, and I may experience other touch points along the way. I may do more searches, I may see a banner ad, I may click on a banner ad, etc. The reality of it is that this ecosystem that marketing is spending dollars in is not ever going to be fully represented in one system. Salesforce, Marketo, Eloqua, any of the lead nurturing solutions that are out there, those are all very good tools, and they all have a specific purpose. And that specific purpose is to try to get people across the finish line. If you're a lead nurturer or Salesforce, it's really a CRM in terms of how to manage my sales force, manage my customers. But if you think about the upper parts of that funnel, from a marketing perspective, the awareness that I'm creating, the impressions that I'm creating, the dollars that I'm spending, and where I'm doing that at, those are golden nuggets that you need to bring together alongside those two examples that you provided to really understand truly what is driving marketing performance and how do I stop spending money on things that don't make me any money.
And we want to understand every step in the path. That's when we talk about bringing these things together and seeing how they work together. We know that some channels appear earlier in the customer's decision journey and others appear later. And so from a marketing standpoint, you want to put different resources towards awareness-generating tactics than you do conversion-generating tactics. And you want to make sure that you're timing them correctly and spending the right dollar amounts on each of those tactics. So that's the whole idea of multi-channel attribution, is you can't give credit to just the converting tactic. You need to give credit to all of the tactics that somebody encounters along their journey to that conversion event.
Well, it's always been a problem. I've been in the lead management business for many years, written several books on the subject. It's always been a problem when someone says, well, they inquired through the Internet, they asked for a white paper, they came to a trade show, and then they went to a webinar. Who do I credit? What do I credit? And I generally say you credit the salesperson, and I credit the first instance of them appearing as the instance that created the sale, but you're saying that may be wrong. So what kind of reports do you have for someone like that has this, you get 6, 8, 10 touches before the person finally comes through to the sale? What do you really credit as the source? Because everybody wants to spend money on things at work and let their competitors spend money on everything else. How do you credit?
Sure.
How do you credit a source with getting more qualified leads and more sales than any other source?
The answer to your question is we don't know until we actually bring all of the data together and begin to do statistical modeling. The beauty of statistical modeling, and we use a lot of linear regression in our modeling, but the data will tell you. The data is there. And in the example that you were using, which is again very common, and it's an excellent example in the sense that I have a lead that came through, and I'm just going to credit a source, even though they may have seen 6 or 8 things based on the first one. Or in the web space with tools like Google Analytics, which we utilize with virtually all of our clients, it's the last interaction. It's the last channel that I came through. It was a paid search, and that's actually what took me over the finish line, so paid search gets all of the credit. The reality of it is neither of those answers are correct. what an attribution model is designed to do is to do two things. Number one, help you understand what the right and the most optimal mix of experiences that not just one lead in this case has experienced, but really all leads. Because you have to look at the whole ecosystem to really understand the trends, patterns, and behaviors that lie within the data. And that's the beauty of our platform, is that when you solve this data problem, and we like to say this, marketing doesn't have a software problem. Marketing has access to multitudes of software, Salesforce, lead management, lead nurturing tools, web analytics, et cetera. The problem is data. It's a data problem. And so when you bring all of that data together, it gives you the ability to look holistically, to not only report on it, as Michelle was describing, but to model against it, to really get to the answer that you're asking. And the reality and truth in it is that never, in our modeling experience, the answer is always going to be a little bit different for different organizations because of the types of industries that they're in and the marketing channels that they're using.
Yeah, think about two of our clients. One is AMC Theaters, which is a movie entertainment business, and another is Helzberg Diamonds. So their marketing is different, and the journey that a customer is going to take, the decision process is also very different. So we can't use the same model for each of them. So we work with their individual data sources and develop a model that works best for them. We back test it to make sure the model is accurate, and then they have their own custom model that they can use.
So you make some buying recommendations based on the information within the model, which is guiding us. So, for instance, correct me if I'm wrong here. Let's say that I'm a marketing manager, and I get leads from a lot of different places, and trade shows is one of them. But would your system be able to eventually see that, all right, out of everything that turns into a sale, we see a hot spot that indicates that all of those leads coming in, if they've also gone to a trade show, they close at a higher level than those that don't come in, that come in and don't go to trade shows. You're able to see that kind of specificity?
Yep, that's exactly right. Because a trade show is a channel to us. A trade show is an in-person interaction, but it is a channel, just like direct mail is, just like email, et cetera.
Yep. So you got it.
So you can see these hot spots that appear, and then guide me. So if I'm going to 10 trade shows a year, but I find that there's this edge. If I've got a chance to go to 15 trade shows a year, then I may spend more on shows to push up our visibility and see if this number continues to work. And if it does, then I'm golden compared to people that are sitting there just what I was doing 15 years ago, just guessing.
Right. Or you might find out that doing 15 trade shows is great, but then if you also combine that with doing some display advertising online, that you get an exponentially greater return. And that's the other piece of it, is how all of these different tactics work together to give an exponentially higher return.
I'm convinced whatever it costs, it's peanuts. I think it's pocket change, and everybody should buy your service. But do you have an opinion about remarketing? That seems to be a topic for the last 2 years or so, maybe longer. I don't know, but the last 2 years, the remarketing through Google, where the ads show up a second or third time, they keep making claims, and I've had other people make claims to me that have used it and said, well, yeah, once I signed up for remarketing, my budget was relatively modest, but I found that those web pages showing up, somebody can't come to us once, and then I start getting my ads showing up in other places, and I'm selling more to those people that have come back a second or third time after they've been remarketed. Do you have any ideas about that?
We have a couple of clients who have used remarketing. We had one that really didn't have success with it, and it didn't see the results that they were promised, that they were going through a third-party service. We have others that, use kind of the tools, more of the self-service tools that you're talking about. And, we do see that, through our overall sampling of our clients, that when employed correctly, that it does work, and it does bring people, back to the site and help them convert. So it's definitely a piece of the mix. It's not a tactic to do on its own, of course, but certainly part of a larger plan.
Yeah, and it's the beauty of remarketing is it's an automated way to continue to push your message to somebody who who you think may have raised their hand and said, I'm interested. So it's an automated machine learning process that is much more targeted than, say, a broadcast banner ad where you're just buying on various publishers and hoping that people actually view or click your message. So the idea of remarketing is excellent. It has to be measured and managed, though, in a very proactive way, however, because you can spend more money using remarketing tactics and you can actually be more inefficient. So the philosophy and the principle behind remarketing has shown in the data that we utilize for our clients that it is effective. It just has, as Michelle has been describing, it has to be managed very closely.
Well, just between the three of us, can you give me any other ideas, any ahas that you're seeing? Let's divide it. We've got 5 minutes before a break. And then when we come back from the break, I'd like to talk about some case studies and the cost of your services. And even though it's minor compared to the benefits, I'd still like to talk about it. But can you give me any other insights that you're seeing in B2B at the moment, and then B2C, generally speaking, across all of your clients? Are you seeing something that seems to be standing out in the last 5 or 6 months that seems to be working very well, or some combination of lead-generating activities that seem to be more effective than others?
One thing that we're seeing, and it's been something that continues to bubble to the top as we do more and more of this attribution modeling, is the impact of banner ads. And not just somebody clicking on a banner ad and coming to your site, but what's called a view-through conversion, where somebody views the ad, doesn't click, and then comes to the site and still converts. We're now able to start bringing in a lot of this view-through conversion data. And, banners historically have gotten a bad rap, and people say, nobody clicks on banners, they don't work, why are we spending money on them? And this is a lot. We hear this argument all the time with our clients and their marketing teams. And what we've seen is that if you stop paying for banner ads, if you stop investing in that medium, then the top of the funnel starts to dry up, and the amount of awareness that you have out there actually declines. And so while banner ads are not great as a last click converter, they're not fantastic at getting people to come to the site and take that action. They're really good at generating awareness and getting people in that, kind of like a TV ad does, exactly like a TV ad does, where they may see it and then they see it a couple times, or they see it in combination with other media. They may or may not even click, but they'll come back to the site through another tactic like paid search or organic search, and then they'll convert.
So they may, but I'm not paying for a banner ad that's not clicked on, am I?
It depends how you purchased it. It depends if you're purchasing by the click or if you're purchasing by the thousand.
Yeah, okay, yes. But I can definitely see, so that falls into the banner ads add to branding and recognition and messaging, regardless of whether they lead to an immediate click-through.
Right, you can't just dismiss something because it doesn't immediately lead to a click-through, or because it doesn't immediately lead to a sale, because there might be a bigger picture at work that you can't see just by looking at what somebody clicked on.
So the other trend that we're really seeing through the process that we've been describing here in the B2B space in particular is visibility. So we can probably all agree that sales and marketing sometimes are like in-laws, and sometimes they get along and sometimes they don't.
Especially in the B2B space.
Yeah, and so what the platform does, and really what our approach does, is bring visibility to this entire data set of that marketing is actually doing. And so if you think about how do I optimize my marketing to drive more leads for sales, well, you do that in a couple of ways. Number one, you create visibility all the way down to the salesperson's territory about everything that you're doing in that market, whether it's paid search, website visits, mobile app visits, banner ads, all of the things that you're doing in that particular market to support that salesperson. Then you start to be able to have a quantitative discussion about, well, what works and what not works, because now it's not just about, well, marketing isn't doing anything or sales isn't closing any deals. Let's look at really what's happening in that particular marketplace in the message that we're delivering, in the call to actions that we have, aligned to the number of touches I'm actually doing in person from a sales perspective, and truly see what the right mix is. Because I may have a territory, for example, that may have a lot of small accounts, and I may be able to back off on the number of touches that I'm doing in person because those are the most expensive, to really a more blanketed approach around brand awareness. And I'm going to be able to sustain the same level of activity because it still feels like I'm in market. So those are the types of things that once you solve this data problem, the level of questions and the idea of the sophistication, and again, using the example that Michelle was even mentioning, you now have context. And those are the trends that we're really seeing that our clients are being able to take advantage of.
Well, great. We've been speaking with Michelle Jacobs and Matt Hertig of Alight Analytics. We're addressing the subject, how to stop wasting marketing dollars on non-revenue tactics. When we come back in a moment, I'd like to see if they've got some B2C examples or insights of what's going on in the marketplace, what's working today. And then we're also going to talk very briefly about how someone implements a Alight Analytics data set and data analytics and what the cost is and how long it takes to get up and running, and then find out some insights from people that have used the services. Paul, let's hear from our sponsors, please. Hi, this is Jim Obermayer from the Sales Lead Management Association. We're back to talking with our guest today, Michelle Jacobs and Matt Hertig of Alight Analytics, and we're addressing the subject, how to stop wasting marketing dollars on non-revenue tactics. And when we left off, we were talking about what's working in B2B today, and I asked them to think about it over that 3-minute break. So what's working in B2C today, those lead generation tactics that seem to be turning into sales. Can you give me some thoughts there?
Yeah, we have a really great example of how we're able to tie online marketing efforts to in-store sales. This is something that is a huge question in the marketing space right now that there's so much omni-channel activity going on between, online marketing, online sales, and then offline marketing and offline sales. So for one of our clients, Hellsberg Diamonds, we're rolling out a product called Channel Mix ID, and what this does is allow us to know what tactic somebody came from in the online marketing space. So did someone clicked on a paid search ad, let's say, they came to the website, let's say they browsed around, looked at a diamond necklace, decided not to buy, but then later went into the store and bought that diamond necklace. Now we'll be able to tie all of those activities together so that we'll know that in-store purchase originated from that paid search ad online. Really being able to close the loop between all of the activity happening either online or even on your phone. That's another place where a lot of our online retailers that have actual stores are challenged to know how their websites on a mobile device are being utilized. Are people using their mobile devices to find a store location, or are they using them to browse and then coming into the store? So this whole Channel Mix ID process allows you to tie multi-devices together as well as tie all the online marketing to an in-store sale.
Well, I'm looking at your website here as we talk, and I see under process, it says if you had $1 million, where would you invest it? Which is, how would you invest that $1 million in promotion? And you've got a client here, Doug Lutz from Wellmark, and he said Google Analytics provides Wellmark with a lightweight, easy to maintain web analytics solution that provides significantly more actionable insights than possible with web trends. Wellmark. Now, how does that pertain to you?
Yeah,
because you've got a case study there on it. So did you take that Google Analytics and then run it through your miraculous super secret sauce program?
Yeah. So from a process perspective, there's 4 elements to our to implementing our services. And we really break down our services into what we call track, then measure, then target, and predict. So most everybody today, they'll call us and say, hey, I want an attribution model. And we say, awesome, we'd love to give you one. Let's first talk about what you're doing in the tracking and measuring space, though. The tracking, in the case study that you're talking about with Wellmark, which is an insurance company out of Blue Cross and Blue Shield out of Iowa and South Dakota, their tracking strategy was not in a place where we could truly understand the activities that people were doing on the site and the marketing channels that were driving people there. So in order for you to, again, get to this state where we can truly attribute performance to the right marketing channel and ultimately predict customer behavior coming through these channels, you have to have a rigid tracking strategy, which we utilize Google Analytics to drive a lot of that. Your website lives at the intersection of a lot of decisions. And so we use Google Analytics as the capture mechanism to do that.
Okay.
A lot of other tracking strategies that we put in.
So you use Google Analytics, and the second one is measure. What's the third and the fourth?
The measure, the third one is target.
Target.
And target really talks about attribution. So if I wanted to spend $1 million, where would I spend it? Where do I target my spend? And that's where attribution modeling comes into play.
And the last one?
And the last one is predict. And predict really builds on the attribution model that you have. Let's say that now I'm assigning values to various marketing channels based on certain times of year. Maybe I have a holiday season and a non-holiday season. But the attribution model tells me what the right types of value to assign to each of these channels. I build on that to then go to a predictive model that says, okay, I have $1 million. It's coming up in 3 months. If I invested in these channels with these types of variables in place based on history, what I can begin to predict what my outcome can be.
I can see here AMC Theaters, Jason Norris said they, meaning you, provide a knowledge of team analytics, data scientists, and account professionals that provide me with regular insights and discuss my strategies. Alight is essential as an essential extension of my in-house marketing team. I wish I would have known about you guys or you existed some years ago because I had to do a lot of guessing. And sometimes I guessed right, and I did the lap around the hero, and sometimes I guessed wrong and had to eat it. So to not put too fine a point on it. Now, how does somebody... I mean, Gary Sakin in here from Misano talks about partnering with Alight, and everybody likes to say, "Oh, yeah, we're a partner with our clients," and what have you. But tell us a little bit more. How about how someone gets started with you? Are there a lot of competitors doing what you're doing out there? I know you'd like to say no, but give me a realistic answer. Yes, there are a few.
Sure.
And then what's so unique about your services compared to your competitors? So I've asked 3 questions there. I know as a host I'm not supposed to, but... so I hope you wrote them all down because I can't repeat them.
We'll try to answer them all. You can keep us on it.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, so, the competitors that we have out there fall into 2 camps. There's software providers that have visualization tools where you on your own go out, buy a visualization tool, connect it to your marketing data sources, and create your own dashboard. So that's one kind of competitor that we have. And then we have competitors that are consultants that implement Google Analytics, or that maybe just do an attribution model for you once a year. So those are typically what our competitors look like, which answers your other question about what makes us unique, in that we're a combination of those things. So not only do we have a tool that helps facilitate the integration of data and helps facilitate visualizations and analysis, we also have a team of experts, like you mentioned, data scientists, developers, marketing analysts, strategic partners who, on a regular basis, we meet with most of our clients anywhere from weekly to monthly. And we sit down with them and we review all of their data. We tell them what insights we see in the data, how we think that things could be improved.
Which is objective.
Which is completely objective. We don't do any marketing. We're not a marketing firm. So we're not tied to what the creative looks like or what the marketing plan is. We're being objective with how we feel that it's performing. So that's where, the partnership piece comes in, is that, all of our clients, all of our relationships are long-term relationships. It's not a project where you come in and get channel mixed up and then, you're out the door kind of a thing. It's a long-term relationship where we really get to know our client's business and, provide them valuable insights to help them, be better stewards of their marketing budget.
Yeah, the last point that I would add on to that is the thing that makes us unique at the end of the day is we solve the data problem. And the competitors that are out there, and there's a large movement that's going on in the marketing space right now.
More every day.
More every day that talks about, hey, grab this tool, hook it up via an API, and configure your own reports. Well, there's two challenges to that, as Michelle was describing. Number one, you have to do it yourself and you have to figure it out. But number two, none of those tools, so to speak, are equipped to handle the data problem, which means that we manage thousands of Google Analytics accounts, and I can tell you virtually every account has some sort of data error at some point that has occurred. With the data warehouse and the solution that we have inside Channel Mix, we can actually clean up all of that information. So that there's a built-in hygiene mechanism within our platform, which is absolutely critical to the entire process of analytics, because trying to make decisions off of bad data just leads to bad decisions. How companies actually get started with us basically is a conversation just like this, where we sit down and we talk about their business. We understand their goals and their objectives and the challenges that they're facing. And what we do is we go through this discovery process and we build them an initial measurement plan that says, here's what we would do. Here's how we would line up these dots for you from all these source systems that you've identified, answer these business questions that you really need to understand to put you on this path of track, measure, target, and predict. And none of our clients will ever start out at the target and predict phase. And the reason is because we need to go through. It's like we always describe it as running a marathon. I'd like to run a marathon tomorrow, but I can't. So I have to go through this process of building an integrated tracking strategy using the various tools that are at our disposal to create this seamless connection that flows over into Measure. And what Measure does is gives us a common language, a common look at what performance truly is, and really a single source of truth that we call it. So everybody, agency partners, internal stakeholders, are all going to a single set of dashboards that truly give the state of what marketing is doing and delivering to the business. Once we have that, we can start doing, that gives us the data set that we need to then start building the attribution models and the predictive models. And so that's our process, and the costs for our services range anywhere from 2 to 10% of a media spend on average. And so, we always look at it as marketing needs to think about how they spend dollars as an investor. And if I were to be an investor and I would say, you know what, I'm going to take 2% out of my media budget, and let's say I have a $5 million media budget, I'm going to take 2% out of that and put it into this process that I just described to you. Not only am I going to be a heck of a lot smarter about where to leverage that $5 million, I'm going to be able to actually drive a lot of revenue and a lot of organizational efficiencies using those dollars. And so that's ultimately our entire mission, is to solve the data problem and make it an asset for organizations by using the process I described.
So you found that if people spend 2 to 4% of the media budget, it pays for your services. However, what if there's a lot of B2B companies that have $500,000 to $2 million budgets, so that gives you squat, relatively speaking.
That's right.
So you're primarily just serving to the larger market players?
No, actually, we have a lot of B2B companies that I would say, quote unquote, are in the mid-market space. That's a kind of a basic service that we wrap around with our Channel Mix platform fee, as well as dedicated services, and the average budgets around that can be as small as $50,000 to $60,000 a year.
Okay, now what does it cost? And you say it's 2 to 4%, but let's say, are there startup fees involved in this to do the initial analytics?
There's an onboarding process. But the startup fees are there's no separate startup fees. It's all part of the one kind of package fee.
So when you quote somebody, you say, "Look, this reporting is going to be $5,000 a month, and it starts next month, and our startup fees are all part of that." Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
That's right.
Exactly, you got it.
That's right.
So you're primarily looking at all the work you're going to have to do and the manual work and the hours, and then do the fees vary month to month, or do you just decide on a retainer per month?
Yeah, we actually have a combination kind of situation where we have a flat annual fee for the Channel Mix solution, and then we have kind of a retainer model, a bucket of hours that our clients can leverage for all of the support and professional services.
Yep, and it's we flatten it out for billing and budgeting purposes, and because we are invested heavily with our clients, and and we bake everything in, meaning that, you know what, we don't charge an extra setup fee. We just say, here's what it's going to be. We believe with that model so much in the service that we're delivering that, you know, sometimes our clients aren't profitable for a while. But that's
for
okay.
Us. They're not profitable for us.
For us. That's a great point. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, the services that we're providing are really game-changing in a lot of ways. And our clients would, you know, every one of our clients, I think, would say that for them, because they have contextual visibility to how to not only what marketing is delivering to the organization, but how to change and make that spend more effective.
Well, there's a lot of services where the first startup, the first 5 or 6 months, you may not make a lot of money on it, but eventually it evens out. Now, do you, if I were the client, do you just say, Jim, here's your reports, you just, so the reports stack in on my desk, in my desktop, in my computer, and I'll get to them. Thanks a lot, Matt. Thank you very much. I know there's a lot of data in there, but I'll get to it. Michelle, or do you actually sit there and have monthly, or similar to an ad agency that has meetings with you to say what the hot spots are?
Exactly. We actually, all of our clients access their reports online through channelmix.com, so they're available 24/7. And we have either weekly, biweekly, or monthly meetings with all of our clients where we not only go through the reports, but give insights and analysis and deep dives on what the reports are telling us.
And in those discussions, we find hot spots, right? So we're not only providing insights and nuggets to say, hey, here's something that's happening, here's a trend that's occurring. I'll give you one great example. We have a B2C client that is they started to see their conversion rate on their website go down, which set off some alarms, and we came to the meeting prepared to say, well, here's why. And the reason is because mobile, over the last 45 days, mobile traffic to the site had gone up significantly. Well, by nature, shopping happens on mobile. Buying does not happen on mobile, particularly for this particular client. And so that's not a bad thing. We actually saw visit traffic rise, engagement with the brand rise, and you know what? We actually saw a little blip go up in store. Context. And so the model that we've put in place is not this self-service, buy some software and hope.
And get a report and you never look at.
And it's not a consultant that comes in and tells you everything that you're doing wrong and then leaves. Our process is, we're going to give you the big data platform, we're going to give you the reports, we're also going to give you the team that sits alongside as an extension of your organization to tell you the things that we see on a very objective basis. It's a model that we've seen really. It's different and unique in the marketplace, but it's extremely effective for our clients.
And all the reports are custom built for each client, so they're exactly what the clients want to see. It's not a canned report that you're like, this isn't really important to me, or I don't really care about this data.
Well, this has really been interesting today. I can see why, as a marketing manager, I would be most interested in this. From the standpoint I can stop guessing, and I've also got backup. When the CFO or the company president says, why are you spending all that money in this area, I can say, This is why. Any other questions, please? So I can see why hope is not a strategy when it comes to using your ChannelMax big data warehouse. We're at the end of our time stretch here. We extended our program about 10 minutes today to talk to Michelle Jacobs and Matt Hertig of Alight Analytics, the founders. I think they've pretty well answered our question, how to stop wasting marketing dollars on non-revenue tactics. Any final words, Matt or Michelle, for our marketers out there for the next 6 months?
Be sure to measure.
Be sure to measure.
Measure everything.
And,
track, measure, target, predict. I'm going to use that as a mantra. Track, measure, target, predict. Thank you very much. You've been great today. Appreciate it. Paul, we've got another guest here coming up.
Yes, we do. Let's do a quick commercial here, and then we'll bring on your next guest here.